So without further ado, we are here. I wanted to thank you for the proclamations earlier tonight. Business is very important to the business of Rockville. And we really appreciate the proclamations for Economic Development Week, as well as the Rock East District kickoff and district. We really had a great time at the kickoff, and we really appreciated the folks who were able to make it. Business has been very supportive. We're really excited about some of the new things that are coming. Tonight, Cindy is going to take us through the annual report, and she is joined by Rochelle Wilson and Morgan Wortham. They will be covering some of the economic development activities, as well as the Maryland Women's Business Center. This has been a really challenging year. I'm sure everybody is already aware. This has been a tough year for business, but ready, I always say ready is small, but we're mighty. And we've done so much with what you have given us. And we are so grateful and appreciative to the support that the city and the staff have provided to us this past year and in other years. We don't have a huge staff, but we managed to make a big impact with what we have, and we're really, really grateful for that. And we've got lots of really exciting things that are coming up, and we've also done a lot in this past year. So before we go any further, I want to make sure that you're aware that the actual report is in your packet. So we're going to be going through the highlights, and we were asked to kind of keep our presentation short. So, and as I looked through it, I'm like, gosh, there's a lot of things in there that we didn't really get a chance to talk about. So I hope you'll take time to go look. I think it was on page 234 is where our annual report starts. There's so much great information in there. And I think you will be surprised at all the great things that we've gotten done. So without any further ado, I will turn it over to Cindy Livard. She is our Chief Executive Officer. And she will take you through the presentation, and we'll be here to answer any questions that you may have. So Cindy, I think you're there, right? Can't see everybody.
Sorry, I have to unmute.
Welcome.
Thank you, Susan. For fiscal year 21, we did have a great year. Again, it was challenged by the pandemic. For those who may be watching who may not know, Rockville Economic Development is a separate nonprofit organization that was set up by the city to focus on economic development for the city, which means trying to raise the tax base and increase jobs and raise the reputation of the city to businesses who may be looking at locating or staying in Rockville. So the mission we have is to identify and develop economic opportunities to help Rockville prosper in order to make Rockville a 21st century for business. This fiscal year, we had a new slate of executive officers. Susan is obviously our board chair. She comes from the MITRE Corporation. We have Jennifer Hester from Emmis as a vice chair, Nancy Regland from Schulman Rogers also as a vice chair, and Scott Browning served this past fiscal year as our secretary and treasurer. He did step down from his role. He's been secretary treasurer for 10 years. And so this next fiscal year, we will have a new treasurer. We have a very esteemed board of directors. I'm sure you recognize all the names on there. I won't go through them. But one of the strengths of Ready and for the city is that by being a separate organization, we have the engagement of all of these business leaders who are very active in running the organization and discussing issues that are current for businesses and challenges that are facing our business community, and also giving input to the city on projects that is useful to you as mayor and council and staff in making decisions that may impact the business community. This is our team, and I want to point out that there are two sort of separate, almost departments that we have. Rochelle, Amanda Bosland, myself, and with the support of Rochelle as administrative coordinator, we focus on economic development, which is sort of the traditional work for the city where we do business attraction, retention, expansion. We help with city projects, again, giving input and being your experts on business and market issues. The other employees, and you will get to meet both Morgan and Rochelle today because they will be speaking. Morgan heads up the Maryland Women's Business Center, and she is joined by Lisa Swan, who's our marketing and communications manager, Thomas Squire, Angie Duncanson, Martha Jimenez, Nestor Gavidia, Karen Kalansis, and also supported by Rochelle Williams as the admin. So you will know, we'll talk a little bit more about how we were able to staff up, but I think it's very important for those who are watching to understand that there are different funding sources for these two programs. The economic development efforts are funded by the city in full. The MWBC efforts extend outside the boundaries of Rockville because they are funded by the federal government, by Prince George's County and Frederick County, Montgomery County, and the city of Bowie. So in addition to the city of Rockville. So it's a broader geographic mission, but what it does is it focuses on our entrepreneurial and small business community that elevates the economic market for all of us in this area. And Rockville is the epicenter of this entrepreneurial ecosystem by housing the Maryland Women's Business Center here. Next slide. So I am going to turn this over to Rochelle, but I did want to, earlier there was a question about the Small Business Impact Fund. It is still running, and the information about our incentive programs is on our website. So you can go on the website and see what the parameters and requirements for the Move and Expansion Incentive Program and also the Small Business Incentive Program are. And if there was a question, what was it funded for fiscal year 22? It was funded in the amount of $450,000. So I just wanted to make sure that we answered that question before I turn this over to Rochelle. Rochelle Wilson is our deputy director, and I will tell you a little bit about her background in a bit, but she is going to take us through some of the highlights of the market this year and some of our actions. Rochelle?
Good evening, everybody. I'm just going to walk everyone through some of our economic development efforts for the fiscal year 21. So navigating the pandemic over the past 19 months has been challenging, but many life science companies right here in the city of Rockville played a crucial role in fast-tracking testing and treatment for COVID-19. The pandemic shone a light on the region, specifically on the city of Rockville, the center of the immunology capital, as it continued to operate as a magnet for life science development. We experienced an uptick in venture capital investments, totaling $190 million as of June 2021. That was the second highest total since 2015. We saw that growth as we leveraged our incentive programs to attract headquarter relocations of life science and immunology companies such as Autonomous Therapeutics and Aurinia. We were able to partner with the city and Lantian Development to reposition the Shady Grove Biotech campus on Chokecherry Road, which was purchased by Boston Properties and will bring new Class A lab space to the city. Next slide. As part of our broader strategy to attract and retain businesses within the city, Ready launched a pilot project where we partnered with local businesses and the city to create a commercial district to promote local tourism and highlight the area's businesses. As mentioned in the proclamation, the Rock East Commercial District, also known as the Makers District, was formed to help promote the businesses in the area and help us display the uniqueness of the businesses and amenities in the area. In addition to the launch, free marketing resources are available to all the businesses in the Rock East District. Following the launch, we have received interest from businesses wanting to relocate to the area. Next slide. And I just also wanted to talk about one of the major projects. We've seen a lot of activity throughout the region, specifically right here in Rockville. One of the largest multifamily projects in the county was in Town Square. Currently, Duval has been working on a 675,000 square foot redevelopment project. At delivery, the multifamily project will add 20,000 square feet of ground floor retail, as well as Class A luxury apartments totaling 250 units, as well as senior living. The project is expected to deliver by the end of Q4 of calendar year 2021.
Great, thank you, Rochelle. So obviously we have some new faces. In addition to our new board leadership, Rochelle Wilson has joined us as the Deputy Director and Morgan Wortham as our Managing Director of the Maryland Women's Business Center. Rochelle has a background in real estate research and market research and quite extensive experience working in Montgomery County. So that's very beneficial to us. And she's also worked in economic development for some time. Morgan Wortham comes to us with experience in entrepreneurship, community engagement, and grant management, which is something that we needed because especially with the pandemic, the navigating all of the grants from the federal government and for both ourselves and for our clients has been quite complex. And Morgan's done a great job leading. Next slide. So in addition to what Rochelle mentioned about what's happening in the market and some of the major projects that we worked on, we also issued an RFP to hire a research firm to conduct a business and broker site selector survey. This is kicked off and we're going to have the results of these surveys by the end of this fiscal year, but it's going to give us a baseline to understand how people are looking at Rockville as a place to do business. One of our other goals with that project is to come out with a strong minority business list. I know that's something that has been discussed quite frequently. It's been hard for us to find a central database to make business lists, but that's one of the tasks that this firm is going to help us with is firming that up. Ready also participated on the steering committee for the Rockville Metro Center redevelopment. That's obviously a major project in the heart of Rockville that's going to be very impactful. We worked with the city staff to issue an RFP to hire a consultant to reposition the historic King Farm farmstead. That's also kicked off. We're about to kick off. So exciting to be able to hopefully move that project forward. We commissioned an economic impact assessment for changing the land use designation on Research Boulevard, showing that we are here at the table with you as a partner to provide expertise and input on decisions that you have to make that impact the business community. We organized and presented 5 workforce development roundtable discussions with our workforce education committee that is chaired by Dr. Kim Kelly. And we also spent a lot of time talking with stakeholders about talent alignment because we think that this is an area of opportunity for us to be more competitive. So we have been engaging with Montgomery College, the universities at Shady Grove, the Montgomery County Public Schools, and WorkSource Montgomery. Next slide. I'm going to turn this over now to Morgan Wortham to tell you about what MWBC has been doing. Morgan?
Maryland Women's Business Center was lucky enough in its 10th year to serve over 500 small business clients with our free business counseling. Of those, 64 clients were Rockville residents. With MWBC assistance, Maryland entrepreneurs raised a total of $6.5 million in capital infusion. Of that, $1.9 million was capital infusion to Rockville entrepreneurs. This past year, we saw a 184 increase in total capital infusion across all, which was a huge benefit to our area. Next slide. A bit about more about our clients we serve. MWBC served more than 350 minority businesses in this past year, 38 of which were City of Rockville residents. Cindy has already talked about some of our future initiatives to help support additional minority businesses. We're pretty proud of our childcare programming. We supported 329 Montgomery County home-based childcare programs through our one-on-one counseling, and also the development of a workshop series that was bilingual, specifically designed to help the childcare businesses to position their finances and take advantage of some of the government relief. We also organized and facilitated more than 70 workshops for entrepreneurs, and were able to have more than 1,200 attendees who received vital information on their small business needs. We also had a specific cohort of our We Grow program, which helped women in financial resiliency. We also launched our newly redesigned website, which was more mobile friendly in February of 2021, and we've been able to have a better reach and support of entrepreneurs in our region. We also partnered with the city and the chamber to host community forums for small businesses to provide information, resources to help them deal with the challenges related to the pandemic. We also welcomed a new cohort, our third cohort, into our Shop Local, which is our retail incubator located in Rockville Town Square. We're pretty proud of this. Since the inception, we've had 9 women owners of small businesses who've graduated from our incubator. 5 businesses have moved into their own storefronts, 2 of which are located within Town Square, which has really helped increase the area's retail vibrancy. We've also hired additional staff members with MWBC with the federal funding that we received from the CARES Act. We were able to hire Thomas, Nestor, and Karen. We've had the benefit of having our staff members to be engaged in both the Maryland Tech Council Mentoring Program and the Rockville Incubator Tenant Review Committee.
Great, thank you, Morgan. So as part of our annual report, we attach our plan for the current year. And so you will be able to take a look at that in a little bit more detail in the agenda packet. But the 4 areas that the board wanted to continue to focus on were marketing, business retention, expansion, attraction, talent alignment, and small business assistance. For marketing, it still believes that we need, the board still believes we can tell our story about Rockville better. And that's why we are doing the business survey. We're trying to develop a more refined understanding of what we need to do to adjust our messaging to get the word out. We want to continue to develop this concept of the commercial districts like the Rock East District. We have found that this is a really great tool to highlight the businesses that are here, give them marketing support, and also it attracts new businesses who see why they might want to be part of that particular business community. So we believe that's a very valuable effort that we're taking, and excited that it plugs into our new partnership with Visit Montgomery, where they're helping us to put together a Rockville specific tourism website that will highlight the commercial districts and other things to do and see. One of the things that we are thinking that we would like to do as part of that effort is focus on Rockville restaurants and really highlight our international restaurant scene. For business expansion, attraction, and retention, we will continue to work on the business survey that ties into that as well, and the incentive programs. And as we've said throughout this presentation today, we want to make sure that we are addressing the minority business community. I think that the Maryland Women Business Center does a great job of that, but we want to be more targeted in understanding what is that landscape in particular within the boundaries of Rockville. For talent alignment, again, we think this is an area of real competitive advantage. So we want to continue to work on that conversation about closing the talent gap and making sure that the businesses are able to articulate their needs to the educational institutions, so that they're aware of actual jobs in the pipeline. And we also want to start to talk more about quantum. I know everybody's starting to hear about that. It's in our area, we're positioned uniquely because the University of Maryland is the top university in the country for quantum. And everybody sees that this is an opportunity for an emerging industry that will have a lot of job opportunities for people who will need training in this area. And it really will transform almost every other industry. So it's an exciting time, and we're in alignment with a lot of the other economic development agencies in looking at that as a topic. For small business assistance, I think Maryland Women's Business Center is doing a great job. We want to continue to strengthen their programs, and the core has always been the one-on-one business counseling, which is free for people who come to the center, as well as our workshops, which are free or very reasonably priced. So we hope anybody who's thinking about starting a business or would like help with their business to check it out and see how we can help you. We do not discriminate based on gender. So even though it's called the Women's Business Center, we serve all people. So that is the end of our presentation, and we'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much, and I apologize, as the council does as well, for the lateness of the hour, because the lateness of the hour does not indicate how important this is to us. This is super, super important. So thank you all, and thank you for staying so late. Questions or comments, council members? Councilmember Dr. Miles, then Councilmember Pershela.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Sorry, I had to turn off the space heater. Actually, I have a heater on. It's that time of year. I just want to thank you all for this excellent presentation, the semi-annual presentations, and for reaching out to us individually to keep us appraised of your goings-on. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Pershela.
Yes, I also just wanted to express my appreciation. And though I haven't taken any courses lately from the Maryland Women's Business Center, I took about 20 over a period of 7 or 8 years, including one from Susan Prince in the marketing. And I can attest that men as well as women can attend these training sessions, but they are extremely well done. When I had to go into business for myself in 2010, that was just an emerging thing, and it was so helpful for me as a small business owner to just get all sorts of insights. So I can attest personally to that, and congratulations on all your wins lately, and you're continuing a great tradition from before. Thank you.
Councilmember Ashton.
Thank you. Thank you also for the pre-read of the annual report. You gave it early, back in early September to us, and I had a chance to work through a lot of the questions I had. So I really appreciate that. I've referred businesses to you all and know that they have found the work very valuable. I also want to thank you for working with us and really pulling together in collaboration with the chamber and our staff those business webinars to help companies navigate the pandemic. I think we have some survivors as a result, and that means a lot. When you're a small business owner, you invest your life savings into something you want to help these businesses survive. Also want to thank you for collaborating. I know we worked together on the support on non-dilutive funding opportunities through NIH. So that was really good. And I just appreciate the work that you all are doing to really try to help achieve the vision of being an innovator hub for biotechs and innovation. So I'm excited about that. You also mentioned the minority business list as a future project, as well as something that will really help to put Rockville on the map in terms of things to do and culture arts destinations. I know that's on your list for the future, but as we've talked about in the past, when you Google Rockville, we have so much to offer, but there's so many hidden secrets, and you guys are really helping to package that up and make it easy for folks to find. So I appreciate that and look forward to it. We did get one resident question, and I just, for the record, want to make sure that it's clear. There was a question about the small business grant funding that we're giving to one partner, and it's being used for Rockville and no other expansions outside of Rockville. Just want to confirm that if you can, for the record.
Yes, that's correct. The funding that the grantees receive from the Small Business Impact Fund is spent within the boundaries of Rockville. And for that particular grantee, that is the case.
Thank you.
I will add my thanks to the comments that have been made before, or add my support for the comments that have been made before, and my thanks to all of you. And a couple other points I just wanted to make was, thank you for the robust staff that you've put together, Ms. Livard, and for using the money that you've gotten, CARES Act, PPE, in such a great way to help our city and the surrounding area. And just a point of notice for people is MWBC is the Maryland Women's Business Center. So while we only have 38 specific Rockville entrepreneurs helped, what you've done throughout the state, I mean, you guys represent Baltimore, Bowie, and Frederick as well. And so that is a big area that you have staff throughout the MWBC that sits in those. I wanted to make sure people understand that. It's not that, we're losing out. Actually, we're gaining by having such a presence here in the city of Rockville of the MWBC. One other thing I wanted to, and Councilmember Ashton made the mention of the Small Business Impact Fund, and that is clearly going for Rockville and not elsewhere. That's very important that we qualify that. And then your Exhibit B on packet page 251 is where the strategic initiatives and work plan for FY22 is located, so people can find it there. And I'm just really pleased to see how you have grown Ready, but also how you've supported the city of Rockville, and the Rock East District is just a game changer for all of us. And I know you have plans to do more throughout the city. And I think, if I remember correctly from a meeting, that each district will be a little bit independent. They're not all the same, so not everyone's a maker district in the same way that Rock East or Red is, which I think is great, because Rockville's a city of neighborhoods and we're all different. So I really appreciate that diversity that you're bringing to the table. So thank you. I think I see Councilmember Pershala's hand.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. A very good point about the Maryland Women's Business Center, but a historical note is that it started out as a Rockville Women's Business Center and grew into that broader role. So thank you for that.
That is a great point. Thank you. Other comments or questions? Or is there anything that you all would like to add that we didn't touch on that you want to bring up?
I would just like to say how much we appreciate all of your support. And I cut Susan off. I'm sure you're going to say something similar. Go ahead, Susan.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we can't do this alone. And the city has just been incredible to work with. I can't say enough. Everything we're touching, we've needed support from staff, we've needed support from the mayor and council, and it's been the best thing about Rockville. And you know me, I'm like the biggest booster there ever was. But the best thing is that we do have this story we haven't told. And I really feel like that we are really coming into our own, and we are creating a sense of place for Rockville that's helping us to differentiate ourselves from other locations within the county. And we are not in any way, shape, or form not wanting to work with other localities, but we are really so hyper-focused on making sure Rockville's story gets out there. And it's such a good story, and it's going to help us to continue to attract businesses. And because we are so nimble, we can move and do things that, some of the other municipalities in other areas can't. So it's just a very powerful team all the way around. So thank you.
Thank you. You said it well. We have a story to tell, and we're going to tell it. So thank you. All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for your patience with us this evening, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.